All right, let's talk about the top 7 reasons why people no-show for their first appointments after a workshop. Now, this can be a very common problem for a lot of people giving workshops. And so let's dive into the top 7, and we're going to go from number 7 down to the number 1 reason. So the 7th reason why people no-show for workshops is that you're not addressing problems big enough. So simply put, you're just giving classes around topics that aren't that important in the people's lives. Because if it's an important topic and a big enough pain point and problem, then they are going to be highly motivated to solve it. Okay, so that's the first thing you should always look at is, are the workshops addressing issues that are big enough? The second, or the next reason, number 6, is, are you scheduling the people soon enough? Right? You should be scheduling people within, ideally within 7 days, but not past 2 weeks. Right? If it's past 2 weeks, you're definitely going to see an increase in no-shows. Ideally, you want to schedule people for their initial appointments even as soon as the next day. I mean, those are people who are really committed, who see the value and want to get in as soon as possible. So trying to schedule people as soon as possible, super important. So the 5th reason, you're not collecting a deposit. Okay, so if you're not collecting a deposit, of course you're going to see an increase in no-shows because there's no skin in the game. People haven't put any money down. There's nothing to lose if they don't show up. Now, that deposit should be a minimum of $50. You can have them pay the full amount. That's certainly acceptable. However, if you're going to do a deposit, it should be at least $50, if not more. Now, the 4th reason is tied to this one, and that could be if your fee for that initial visit is too low. If your fee for the visit is $25 or $27, well, that's not enough to worry about for most people if they don't make the appointment. In fact, they won't call you, they won't try to get a refund or anything because they just don't care. So the other challenge of having such a low fee is that you can really damage the perceived value of the appointment, right? If you're saying that you're solving these really big problems and there's so much value in your whatever product or service you provide, but then you have a really, really low fee attached to it, then that's going to damage your specialist status, which is extremely important. People need to see you as a specialist. And so that's the next piece. The 3rd reason why you're getting no-shows is because people don't see you as a specialist. If they don't see you as a specialist, then in their minds, then they can go to anyone, right, who's giving the same service. They're going to see it as the same, and they're going to see someone who's either closer or less expensive, or maybe if you're a provider, someone who's in network in their insurance if you happen to be not in network with their insurance. So then the second most important reason that you're getting no-shows is you don't have a clear clarity around your process and pricing for people. So when you're giving your offer, your close, it's not clear what's next and what's it going to take, how much time is involved out of their schedule, what's the pricing look like, what's the cost. If those things aren't clear, then people are going to have all sorts of doubts in their mind about whether or not they have the time to do it or they have the finances to do it. So we should be making them feel super comfortable and feel as if that everyone, that you're going to work hard to make sure that everyone can do this thing, or you give them very specific, clear specifics around how much it costs, going forward after that initial visit. If there's an additional fee, what do those fees look like? Are they monthly? Give them an idea so that way they can make a decision. And the number 1 reason that you're getting no-shows is that they don't believe you. Right? This is the tough one and the most important one. But the reality is, if you are talking about a subject, a topic that is some of the biggest challenges in their lives or their child's life, and you're presenting a solution to that, and you're establishing logical certainty that this makes total sense, well, it means that you're not establishing emotional certainty. They don't believe that you are the next best thing in their life and that you and your service could solve their problem. If they did, and you gave them the clear clarity around your process and your pricing, and they see you as a specialist, and all those factors, and you don't have a really low exam fee, which damages that perceived value, then they absolutely should be clamoring to get an appointment, and they're going to do everything in their power to keep it. Right? And so it's incredibly important to go back and look at your presentation, both from a logical certainty, does it all make perfect sense every step of the way? And are you giving them emotional certainty in terms of, are you building rapport, trust, and credibility? Are you creating a connection with them? Do they like you? Do you have testimonials in there showing other people just like them who had the same or similar challenge, and then once they engaged with you and worked with you, well, then their life was so much different because of that, right? And so at that point, number one, you should have very high signups of people engaging your services, and for that initial appointment, and again, they wouldn't dream of not making that appointment, right? I've given over 300 workshops, and the vast majority of those, I never even collected a deposit, and our show rates were extremely high. We had very few people who ever missed, and it was primarily because we focused on creating that logical and emotional certainty and helping people understand that we were the next best thing in their lives, and that we had the formula to take them from where they were to where they wanted to be. And so that's the number one thing. Focus on that in your workshops, and I guarantee that you will have way fewer no-shows after your classes. All right, thanks for watching.